All right, everybody, what is going on? How is everybody doing today? Oh, hang on, I'm gonna have to switch this. Jay Casper, what's up, man? Bearish Bull, Serendipity, Jake, Arcus, Dave, Hopium Jesus, what is up? I am doing much better, thank you. Let me pull up this real quick. We can check out this open. You can see the ES is selling off pretty quick, heading down for that poor low that we had on Friday. Big Blaze, what's up, my man? Yeah, it's been a minute. It's been a minute. How's the sound? Is my volume good? I got the beat on in the back. Hopefully it's not too overpowering. A little bit of a little sell-off right there in the ES this afternoon. We talked about, for the people that are in the, or that were in the boot camp, how important this 4,300 level is going to be going forward, right? During Globex, not going to be too important. An interesting point, especially if we kind of zoom out on this, is let me just pop this one out. Let's just duplicate this. There we go. Now we can actually drag the chart around. So here we go. We can kind of see that we're in this low end of balance, and it's interesting that we opened up in Friday's range and not below it, right? You would figure, especially because we've had some gap downs, right? There's still a gap above here. But since we've opened up in Friday's range, it will be interesting to see where that cash open happens, right? A lot can happen from now and then. As we all know, you know, they don't fight wars on the weekends. I'm just kidding. Maybe turn down the beat. Okay, let me turn down the beat a little bit. Let's see. That should be better. Yeah, so as we know that, you know, they don't fight wars on the weekend, so we can see what happens coming into this week, right? If we get a lot of you know, a lot of bad news coming out, or if some bad news comes out of the Fed, anything like that can really, you know, push the market down. And remember that overnight Globex hands are pretty weak traders, so even if we do break this level, unless it starts to slip pretty bad and there's not a lot of support underneath of us coming here, so we could get going pretty bad here. But it will just depend kind of you know, what comes out. Let the market open up, let it settle out. Don't feel like you're missing out. Just you know, let the trade come to you. We know that this spike should act as support. If it doesn't act as support below it, it's gonna get pretty ugly, right? We'd have to look back at a couple of other levels to really kind of see the support is probably gonna be, let's put this in the crosshair. It's probably gonna be down here around this 4,200. All right. You can see we're just hitting that poor low, or that weak low from Friday. And so we'll just let this thing settle, right? It's opening up pretty decent amount down, right? Open was 43.90, opened up right at Friday's half back and sold off, right? 2 ticks above, so that's kind of a weak high. And look, we trade right to the low of Friday, 1 tick below the low of Friday, and then back up. If you are on your TPO chart and you're looking at the ES and yours looks a little bit different than mine, I have mine on 2 ticks because the VIX is over 20. You're seeing pretty light volume. I mean, 8,000 contracts traded already. Was it about 4 minutes in? We'll give it a second to chill out. Let's switch directions and take a look at Bitcoin. And one thing I do want to talk about with crypto in general, if you guys haven't been paying attention, is notice how, oh, there goes the break on the ES. Right down to the 67 and back up. Notice how on crypto it was acting kind of deflationary, right? And then we got this nice little pop and ran back down. We had kind of talked about this in the Discord about how we keep getting this resistance right here about 45,000. But above this balance up here, you've got that 50,000 coming in target. But let's switch to the daily chart. Whoops. Okay, so if we look at the daily, and I want to do a comparison for you real quick. I want to compare the we'll just compare the S&P 500 futures to it. Okay, so let's take a look since the start of the year, how it's going, right? And everyone had kind of said that this is going to be a deflationary asset, where if money starts rolling out of the stock market, it's going to roll into crypto. With everything going on in the world, you know, I kind of expected us to get a little bit more money inflows, and we have, right? If you really look at it, right, here's the first of the year, the market started selling off. I'm not sure what day the conflict started. Let's take a peek. What day did Russia invade Ukraine? Like the #1 search thing. That was on February 20th. Okay. Where is it? So here's the 20th, and you can see this low got put in on February 24th, but it didn't break this January low. Right now the market's kind of just balancing on a daily. The balance is going to be a little bit different when it comes to crypto, just because the fluctuations are going to be a bit more. Tommy, what's good, man? Jake, yeah, it's been a minute. Yeah, so I had some health issues going on, but you know, I'm all taken care of that at this point, back to 100%. And you know, trying to get back at it, going to be more regular. We got the trade room coming up tomorrow, and then tomorrow morning in the trade room, for those of you guys that are going to be in there, we'll discuss kind of how the situation is going forward. Mainly what I'm looking at is just trying to keep everything out there while I finish the boot camp, and then also because I'm going to be moving this summer, you know, it's going to be tough for me to be on a schedule, and it wouldn't really be fair for me to, you know, charge you guys to be in a trade room when I can't guarantee myself to be there every single day while I'm moving. So probably just going to run the trade room and just invite everybody. You know what I mean? I feel like that's probably the best idea. That way we can just share the information, you know, get that information out there. So let's take a look at some crypto. If anyone has a specific coin they want to look at, you know, shout it out in the message. And let's take a look at what we can expect from Bitcoin today. A little bit more zoomed in. You can kind of see after this sell-off, we are kind of back in this lower balance zone. I keep grabbing right here because that's how it is on Sierra charts. Yes, is making a nice little recovery back up above 80 now. Little try to get him with the old pop, lock, and drop. Mantis, what's up? What's up? Crypto Incognito, yo. Yeah, Davidson, so what I'm going to do is the people that are already in the trade room, I'm just going to keep them, you know, let them stay, right? Those are the people that have been supporting me since the beginning, you know, and I really appreciate all of that. But what I'll do is I will stream it to YouTube. That way people get a chance to participate, right? They might not be able to voice their opinions, but text will do. Most anyways. A lot of people don't really like to talk anyways. So, and then once I get to the East Coast and get all established, the new house, the new setup, everything, then we'll figure out the way ahead from there. I do plan to run a more advanced class eventually, but you know, the people that we have, right, I'm committed to the people that we got, trying to get them to the point where they can become a break-even trader. You know, that was my goal, and kind of a person that accomplishes goals, so that's what I'm gonna stick with. So with the open today, right, if anyone hasn't been tracking some of the news coming out of crypto in general, is America is kind of, at least the American news network is trying to basically say that crypto is bad and it's just a way for bad people to get money and stuff like that, right? As you guys have seen, they've kind of been using crypto as the enemy because they blocked all of Russia's abilities to get money. You know, and I'm not here to voice my opinion politically on either side of what's going on, but I think everyone should be a little bit weary of how fast an entire nation, especially a nation the size of Russia, was able to have all of their assets pretty much frozen, right? That is a kind of scary thing. You know, people couldn't go to the banks and pull out money out of the ATM. They weren't, the only thing they were able to do is, you know, use debit cards. They were limited to the amount of money that they could use, right? So it's pretty scary stuff. I mean, for me at least, when I see stuff like that, um, you know, it kind of validates crypto, right? You know, and we'll kind of see how this goes from here as far as what they expect, you know, what they expect going forward. If the people, some of the people might, this might be a wake-up call. They're seeing what's happening in Russia. I mean, these people in Russia, regardless of what side of the line they sit on, whether they agree with the invasion or not, you know, they don't have access to a lot of things. You know, a lot of major companies are basically cutting Russia out. I know Netflix, like, let's see, what country? I mean, so if those of you guys don't know, they got banned from Swift. Or EU likely to cut Russia off the Swift. Yeah, so yeah, the EU cut them off. But there's a lot of companies I know. I mean, you name one, any streaming service, you know, they're kind of getting blocked. It's just going to be tough, right? They're going to have to, when you get used to using something every single day, you know, YouTube is blocking, like everything is blocking them. I know TikTok even just blocked them from live streaming over there. So, you know, there's a lot of bad stuff going on. Adam, let's see. Are you on, what are you on, Bearish? Are you on Binance or Bybit? I've mostly been only trading through Bybit lately. Sometimes you gotta reload this profile. If any of you guys are looking for this, just go up to indicators, type in market profile, and the one by Druther, who was a member, he made it. So yeah, Scout, yeah, definitely. So the method that I use, and I can go over it real quick after we take a peek at this. You're on Bybit? Okay, cool. And I'll talk a little bit more about it for sure. But yeah, so I trade using the TPO, and that's what I use for everything, and it served me well, so I don't plan on switching. So let's take a peek. So what I like to do is I like to start on a monthly chart. When I'm, you know, first getting on something new, we can see that Adam hasn't been around for a while. And so I would say on a monthly chart, it is, you know, just in balance, right? So you're not really able to draw anything, oops, from there or from this. Let's look at the weekly. The weekly, we are also sitting in balance. There's just not really a lot of back information. Let's take a peek at the daily real quick. All right, so on the daily, you can see that we had that cessation of one time framing on the 4th, and then over the weekend, you know, we can see that we're continuing it. It's really tough for me to put any weight on any of the crypto trading that happens over the weekend, because I think a lot of the big traders are still only trading during the weekdays. You know, of course, the hours are going to be different, so you're going to have to look at all of the global market hours. If you are looking for some templates for like EXO charts or something like that, you can jump in our Discord, which is linked below the channel, and there's a bunch of templates in there. But I mean, really, it's just back and forth. I haven't really looked into this. We are making higher lows here. You know how much I love me a nice trend line. So there's a pretty decent trend line, you know, forming off that first low. This did make a higher high, so you know that would tell us that everything is going up. It will be interesting to see the 5 o'clock open in about 2 hours, but let's zoom in a bit more. This 30-minute chart. This black line, for those of you guys that don't know, is the weekly VWAP. Something that I really like to track. It's the volume weighted average price. If you need to know a little bit more about it, just type that into Google and it will pop up right on there. So you could see, right, they were able to push it under the VWAP. People tried to buy, they sold the VWAP back down. Not sure why it's not showing up on here. I'm gonna have to hit up Truther to get this PO set up. But for now, here's what we'll do. Bear with me for a second, guys. Volume profile. There we go. All right, just so we can see, because I don't know why my TPO is not loading on there. Sometimes it's tough with these newer coins because the tick size is so small that it's hard. I almost said ThinkScript. This whatever PineScript is what TradingView uses, and it's not the coolest thing in the world. So I like to use the CVD, cumulative volume delta, just to check for divergences, bigger divergences. Everything looks, like it's pretty much in order for the most part. Don't see anything kind of crazy. You can see we're trading below value here. If we really zoom in, squash this back down. If we're really zooming in, we can see we're putting in some decent excess down here. There it is. So this is gonna be our next kind of zone down, I imagine. If it is able to break, you could expect for it to hold support here. But with something that Peter Resnicek talks about is this tapering, and you can kind of see as we're coming down, they're not really getting a lot of interest down here, right? And a lot of times if we break a level and you're not seeing continued interest down into the lower area, it typically tends to be harder to get continuation, right? I can pop up this real quick to kind of show you a little bit more in depth, right? TradingView doesn't offer as nice of tools as here. I am trying to get my Sierra chart connected to crypto so we can look at all of those on this TPO. It'll be a little bit easier. But you can kind of see when Q period came back down here, 33, 15, 32, 17. So not really a lot of volume coming in down by the low. And you can kind of see where all the volume's coming in now, right? So we got a nice little liquidation, and unless we continue to extend the range to the downside with some volume, then we can expect some continuation. But if not, then it's going to be tough to keep getting that continuation. All right, like I said, I wouldn't make any like real crazy decisions until at least 5 o'clock on crypto on a Sunday, and even on the ES. Let's see. Been wanting price under 24 to care about. Yeah, I mean, I think if you get I think if price comes down here, bro, and it starts to hold in this 27 to 26 area, maybe 27, 27 quarter, like 26 half, that might be a decent spot to catch it, to be honest. Let me go back to the daily real quick. And doesn't even have, how many days is this? What is this, October 11th? I wanna, there we go. Yeah, so if you're looking at this is volume since basically birth for this thing, there's a lot of good volume forming where it's at, right? It's the point of control. It's pretty much a little bit below the point of control. But if it gets here and it's able to hold, that's going to tell you that there's not really a lot of interest down here. And you can see here's that tapering that I've been talking about, right? And you can see most likely this second little volume shelf here was built on this second push down. Volume stepped up, pushed it up. So if it gets down into this area, that's the spot where I'd like to look at it. Ed, what's up, man? It's been an age. It has. I had some stuff that I had to take care of, get everything back to 100%, right? Health comes first. The one thing that you can't buy is time, right? So you got to make sure that you take care of your body so you can last the time, and that's just basically what I had to do. But I'm back. GT James, what's up, my man? You got all the all the icons on the Twitch. That's cool. Sam. Oh, appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, Bearish, of course, man. Anytime. I'd like to know more about it. If you have any links saved on it, shoot me a DM. Definitely love to get in on good opportunity, of course. So one thing that I have done, and it's really helped my health, and I might as well share it, is cut out pretty much all energy drinks. Every once in a while, I'll have one, but sticking to just some coffee in the morning. Other than that, just water, good rest, and surprisingly, and a lot of people get surprised when I tell them this, I've actually been eating a lot of white rice. Oh shit. Oh. Like 3 interfaces and they're all different. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, nice little spill right there. Yeah, so with Bitcoin, it's got to hold this level, right? We're in this lower balance. This was just an area that I'm just trying to fade. Get rid of this. There we go. So you can see this purple is more of a bigger time frame balance. You can see how wide this range is, all the way from like 34 to 48. The market has kind of just been all over the place up there. But if we look previous, and we'll draw this balance, over here, we're looking at about 40,000, about 36,000, roughly, right? One thing that I have been moving forward with is, trying to help people refrain from using exactness, right? Don't get stuck on, okay, it has to hold 30,000. If it breaks 30,000, I'm getting short, right? Sometimes it is going to break 30,000 a little bit, and still short's not going to be the right play, right? So try not to worry too much about exactness. Just understand that that's the way to be ready for it. Why do I talk so slow, Ninja Trader? I don't know, maybe I just do. Yeah, if you go type in TPO in here, right, and it's this one by Druther. Really good guy, easily accessible if you wanted to message him or anything like that. I could talk fast too, Ninja Trader. I could just keep talking and talking and talking and talking and talking and talking and talking too, but no, I talk slow. There used to be a guy on here, Ramon, he's a fast talker. But that's fellow risk manager. That's what I'm talking about. But yeah, so what we would want to see in order for the strength to remain in Bitcoin, is for it to hold this balance zone that it's building within balance, right? And then you would look for it to test up here, and then above this 45,000, if it can hold the next level up, really, because if we look back, is that this 50K is just such a psychological number that I think that would be the target for most buyers pushing forward, right? I like that Bob Ross picture. That's cool. Yeah. It's my first stream back too, so I think I'm a little bit nervous, right? I don't know why, but just kind of feel it, because I'm just so excited. I think excited to get back at it, get back at the grind with everybody, because I really do enjoy this. I really do enjoy seeing people grow. The main reason I do this is to see people become successful and get control of their time, right? The trade vets, right? Also a double entendre for the time to value, and really that's what I'm all about putting in the time that's necessary to get value out of it. I think that's a big thing in the labor market, all over, honestly. But I've been talking about this for a little while with the customer service. I guess, what would you call it? Like just any customer service that works at any company in the entire world. If you would let those customer service people work from home, right? Give them, a phone or connection that they have to be on the internet in order to receive these, customer service calls. They would be able to, get stuff done around their house. They'd be a lot more polite because they'd be able to set their own schedule and be able to say, okay, I'm active right now. Okay, I'm taking my break. It's not like you wouldn't be able to monitor them as a employer. And I think they would just be more happy, because I know a lot of people have complaints, because most of the time when we call customer service, it's to complain about something, right? Most people don't, unfortunately, call and be like, hey, I just wanted to say I'm really liked this product or this service and thank you so much, right? They call and say, hey, this thing's all messed up. So that's really the reason that I'm doing it, is because I would like to see all of you just have that amount of time, because really time is just where it's at. I know the money can be nice, but for me personally, it's more about time. Anything else that you guys want to look at? I do want to take a peek at a couple of other things before we get out of here. I just wanted to do a quick stream and just, say what's up to everybody, get back at it. If we look, these are all the sectors of the S&P 500. You can see the energy sector is way up. We got XLF on the bottom. That's financials, way down. As I've talked about in the past, for those of you guys that are in the TTV boot camp, let me pull over XLF real quick. and we're just going to look at it on a daily chart, right? And we can kind of see the ATR is the average true range, so it's just telling you the range that it moves within a day. So it's moving about 1 point a day, so pretty decent sized range. But you can see this lower level that we just smacked it right on Friday, right? And I'll tell you something that is probably fairly unpopular among the trading environment or among technical traders is they say, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? A quadruple bottom makes it stronger. Not in my world, okay? Makes it weaker. You know, if
I didn't get that. Did you try again?
fucking serious trying to listen to my conversation, bro, psycho. But it makes it weaker, right? It's gonna not saying that it's gonna break, but a XLF or a financial sector that is weak is not going to be good for the market. So you can look for them to try to pump this thing up. If it gets below this 3680, it's, you know, it can get pretty bad for the overall market. What do I think about wheat? Oh, dude, wheat has been it's been wild. So there's a couple of ways to trade wheat, right? If we're looking at wheat futures, it's ZW. You can see it went limit up 4 days in a row, 150 bucks, I think, every day. So it's halted. It traded up, halted, traded up, halted, traded up, halted. 4 days in a row last week, which is just kind of insane. You know, I didn't play it. I wasn't really sure about it, to be honest with you. I don't know enough about wheat futures, and wheat futures are pretty thin. I don't know what the contracts traded would have been. Let's see. Gives me the volume. Yeah, NA, volume NA. Yeah, so but there's another one. I think it was WEAT is a wheat ETF. Where is it? I appreciate it, guys. You guys are awesome, man. Love you guys too. I don't know where that wheat. Oh, here it is. Yeah, this wheat ETF. I was able to play some of this. Shout out to my boy Josh at the Trading Fraternity. You know, he's on YouTube as well. Just type in the Trading Fraternity. Really good with options plays. You know, he's kind of the go-to guy for that. But he was able to kind of, well, I mean, he was just talking about it, and I was like, well, shit, if Josh is talking about it, let me take a peek at it. And then boom, we were able to catch a nice play. Actually took profit on this day here, and then, you know, the next day it did go up, and I was kind of like, damn, I should have got back in, but it was Friday, and I was you know, I was already heading off for the weekend, so not too bad. Another one that if we want to take a peek at here is oil. If you guys have seen oil, for those of you guys that are trading any stocks or futures, we can see that gap up on oil today, right? This is right now, is alarming, right? Oil's trading at 125. What the fuck? Hang on, is that right? Oh my goodness, it is. We'll just go on this one. I just like this one better. I like to use TradingView because I know that you guys use TradingView and not everybody uses Thinkorswim. But if you guys want, just tell me what you would prefer, and then I don't have any issues using that. Trying to get this a little bit lower so we can see. There we go. Yeah, so here's oil. Yeah, it is. It's let me turn on the extended hours. Yeah, so we can see gapped up to 130. This is not good for the market, guys, right? Oil, I mean, if you're long, which is great. Oh, dude, trading. Josh is awesome, man. He's a fucking monster. Fastest news on the internet, honestly. Like, I don't care if you pay for Bloomberg, if you pay for you know, whatever you pay for stock news, he has the fastest news on the internet. His chat has the fastest news on the internet when it comes to the stock market. 100%. I'd bet my net worth on that. Unless it's some inside information that you can't get. But yeah, so this is not good for the market, guys. Oil is up, you know, it's up too high. It's too much, right? It's nice because it's been an easy thing to play, right? You literally have just been able to close your eyes and buy. As I told you guys, James and I had made a long play a long time ago on oil to get long, right? And we were expecting $100 a barrel. Well, we've, you know, got a little bit past what our expectations are, and it's, you know, it's been great. So as much as I want it to continue to make money, I would like to you know, I'd like for the market not to go into a recession, and typically oil spikes lead to recessions. So give you that electric motor. Let me catch up on the chat real quick, guys. Hopium, I like Apex. Yeah, I've had no issues with them. Funded through them. I have a couple funded accounts through them. You know, I've got my paychecks from them, so no issues with me at all. You know, I enjoy it. There is some other ones out there. It's all personal preference. There's another one that James found recently. I can't remember what it was called. I'd have to take a peek at the text and see what it was called. And I'll look through it and find it. The boot camp, right? So the boot camp is almost done. The thing is, I want it to be perfect, right? And I understand that probably you just can't. Perfect is probably just not gonna happen, I guess. But I just want it to be as informative as possible, so when people are able to access it, they're left with as little questions as possible, right? Or as little questions that it answers most of their questions. Of course, there's going to be, you know, tons and tons of questions always with an ever-changing market, but you know, I just want it to be like a full immersion, so that way if they sign up for the boot camp and then they come to the trade room, once we get that kicking again, they're not lost in the sauce when I'm looking at you know, my TPO, right? I want everyone to be able to see this up and start to understand it, right? At least what they're looking at, not necessarily, you know, what's going on here, but understanding the science behind this. And it is literal science, guys, right? You know, scientists have been using a bell curve for, I don't know, forever, pretty much. And, you know, there is a lot of requests. I get a lot of DMs on Discord about running another bootcamp live, and I wouldn't mind doing it. It just takes a lot of time. And so if we get, now that we're streaming again, if we get the want, I guess, then we can do another bootcamp. I have no issues with it. And then eventually we'll start to get a little bit more advanced classes as everyone starts to catch up and kind of get on board. It is a similar format, Jake, the bootcamp. It's just that, you know, I've grown since then, and so I've added to it. And then there is a couple of things that I've changed about the way that well, not really the way that I trade. It's just I've got rid of a lot of the noise. Some of you guys know I used to use a footprint chart along with my TPO, and I've just gotten rid of the footprint chart altogether. I don't use it anymore at all. You're the man, Bearish. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Fuel's over €2 a liter. Yeah, it's crazy, crazy. And it's, I mean, I can only imagine it's going to be going up if if we got any people in Germany in here, you know, the price of natural gas. I heard a lot of stuff is going to be getting pretty bad. Thanks, Bearish. Yeah, I mean, it is. And, you know, I think when I first started, right, I would not really bash a lot of other trading styles. I would just say that, you know, they don't really know what they're doing, and a lot of them, they don't understand the auction process, and I think that's such a big part. And if they were to understand the auction process and use the auction process in conjunction with their trading style, it would be just so beneficial. And that's kind of why, unfortunately, I kind of had to play the devil's advocate, because most people don't understand the profile, and so they don't use it, right? When in reality, if they did, it would be extremely beneficial for them. I don't advocate trading on a 1 minute chart or a 5 minute chart, or I like to look at a 15-minute chart sometimes. It gives you a little bit more zoomed in, but it's more, that would be more for like an order entry, not to see where value is at, right? The biggest thing is being able to track value. Yeah, you really do, Jake. You need to understand the market structure first, and then just use it in conjunction to, if you like to trade, if you're a scalper, right? We have a guy, the Crypto Chemist. I don't know if he's in the chat, but he is a scalper and he's really good at it. High lev scalps. So in order to do a high leverage scalp, you're going to want to get in pretty quick, because your entries are going to have to be on, on the money for the most part, because I mean, everyone knows how high leverage trades can go. They can get pretty bad pretty quick. But understanding that market structure, getting on that good entry, you can get some good trades going out of that. Book maps, I'm not a huge fan of book maps, to be honest. I just don't think it offers enough information, right? Book maps is mainly focused on order migration and resting order migration, and I'm more tracking executed orders, right? I don't really care if if we've got let's say 500 lot order sitting up here, that doesn't really tell me anything, except for that someone is selling 500 lots up here, because we're talking 30 handles above the current price. That's not really information that I need. Yeah, and if they move from here to here as price goes down, that tells me nothing either. That tells me that this order up here is scared, right? But just not useful information, right? We're paying attention to value, and we can see value forming here. For the breakdown, right? Red is the highest volume, white second highest, third is blue, a little red, white, and blue, right? America action, as you know. James and I are both veterans of the United States Army, so I decided to keep it patriotic, right? The good old red, white, and blue. And then the Globex is green, right? So overnight session for the ES is going to be green. Awesome, Bearish. Yeah, thank you, man. Hopefully you keep growing, and then hopefully next time, when we go to Vegas, everybody goes. Now that apparently COVID is completely over. If anyone saw the State of the Union, nobody was wearing a mask, so COVID is officially over. You can say it on YouTube again too, I think, because I heard somebody say it that normally doesn't say it, because they ban videos from it. But if anyone wants to take a peek at some other charts, there was a couple stocks that I wanted to look at. Why is this saying? What's going on? It's weird. It's not like showing my my ability to sort this tab. Weird. Let's look at the one thing I do want to look at is these chip makers, right? You can see Nvidia is still respecting these highs, but did have a gap down day. Was able to close the gap, but not able to close above the 200 moving average. You can see this on the daily chart, like I've talked about. The longer time that we spend, typically, you know, according to market history, below the 200-day moving average tends to lead to a decline, which is why on the ES, one thing that I've been talking about for a while now is this 200 moving average flattening out. I've been talking about that for a good amount of time, and once it starts to flatten out, typically that leads to a pull down. You know, you can see that we've pulled down already. You know, where the market's down about like 10%, I think, for the year, maybe a little bit more. But you know, it's really just watching this, because it's just calculating the past 200 bars, right? When this thing starts to flatten out, that's kind of telling you that the market's losing its steam, right? Not that I'm trading off of it or onto it. It's just good to be aware of where it's at. A big mover in the market is Apple here, right? You can see all the price lines and stuff. But we can see that it came down, really got this boost. Clear these old drawing. 21 days. All of them. But so Apple, you know, being the biggest part of the market, is, you know, really getting to that point where it's going to have to make or break. And with them shutting down, a lot of these companies are shutting down all of their productions in Russia or their imports into Russia. And, you know, as much as it's good to try to freeze all those people out, I guess, I don't know what it does fiscally for the country, right? I don't have that much fiscal knowledge about how the country works, but Russia is a big cap of a lot of these companies, right? So I know Visa put out that Russia is 10% of their transaction fees that they have. That's a lot. 10% is a lot. Might not seem like a lot, but 10% is a lot. You figure Visa, you know, the market cap on this, let's see. No. Tools, no. Oh, here we go. Oh, analyze tab. Here we go. Visa. You can see, where is it at? Here you go. Valuations. You know, so you can see their net income right here, 23.96. And this is probably in billions, I imagine. Oh no, here we go. Market cap 419 million. You know, so 10% of that is a pretty significant amount. Let's see. 419. Let's just call it 420. Right? It's close enough. You know, that's 42. Oh no, that's not the right number. No, 40. What would that be? Bitbeard, what's up, man? So that'd be 42 million, right? I guess if we just round it up, 42 million. You know, it's a lot. And when this kind of stuff happens, you've got to think about how it's going to affect, you know, the rest of the company. If they're going to be cutting off 10% of their income, you have to imagine that a lot of these companies are going to be cutting off 10% of their employees, right? This is going to lead to higher unemployment, right? Inflation's already pretty high. High unemployment, high inflation, not really great. You know, not that I'm bearish, I guess they would say. But I'm just aware, right? I'm just paying attention, you know, not trying to predict the future, but just trying to be prepared for it. Another stock, and I will tell you guys, I have an open position on Twitter, and it's a short. Um, you know, it's not going down as far as I have expected it to go, but all these. Is the COVID low? I don't know. Remember when I drew it? It's not going down as far as I kind of expected, but you know, it's not looking great, right? It hasn't, you know, it didn't rebound a lot like some of these other stocks did. So that's one of the positions that I do have on as a short here. My macro analysis. Yes. So like I said, I like to start on the monthly. We'll zoom in here. Go ahead and erase this now. So you know, I'm aware. I want to get rid of overnight trading. Okay. I like to turn off the overnight trading. I don't really, you know, care what happens in the overnight trading. I'm more paying attention to what's happening in the cash sessions. But so if we look at the monthly still looks pretty strong, right? We're inside February's range and you can just feel the pressure building up, right? Because we've got the Fed coming up on the 15th and the 16th. We've got this global conflict going on. You know, it's we had Powell last week say that, you know, as of right now, the plan is to raise the rates 25 basis points, you know, which is about as low as expected. This pull down since the beginning of the year, right? That was since the last Fed we had was like January 20 something. Can't remember the exact day, but it was the 20th or something like that, 24th maybe. I can't remember. But we've had this kind of pull down, and that's been a pricing in of these projected rate hikes, right? But then we had this global conflict on or in February, which caused a little bit farther down of a push that we saw. But as of right now, you know, I would say I'm optimistic about the opportunity. But you know, with that global conflict going on, and it's not like this is a conflict with smaller countries, right? This seems to be like a global event with a country the size of Russia. Unfortunately, it is getting all of the media coverage because there's things going on like this all around the world, right? All the time. I mean, if you take a trip to Africa, you'll see, you know, those people are at war, right? And they've been at war, right? It's not, you know, just be happy that in America that we're free, right? And you get to to be free and be away from that kind of stuff. But you know, it is happening, and we've just got to make sure that it's on your radar. Those big headlines can cause the market to move, right? Especially, you know, during Globex when there's not a lot of big money on, it's a little bit easier for big money to push the market around. But I am, you know, I'm optimistic that they can get ahead of this and figure it out. I do think that if this continues on, you know, Jay Powell's gonna have to figure out something, because if these companies start laying off people and we continue, either way is going to be kind of bad for the market, to be honest with you. If he starts, you know, turning the money printer back on and passing out money again, that's not going to be great for inflation. But if he starts cutting it off, you know, that's also not going to be good for the economy either. You know, so it almost kind of seems like the downside's coming, right? And pretty much everyone on YouTube is kind of saying the same thing. They're like, oh, the downside's coming, the downside's coming. And that's kind of what's making me think like, well, you guys aren't focusing on both sides. You guys are so locked in on the downside that you forgot that there's two other ways that the market can go, right? Which may sound weird, I guess, but you've got to remember the market can go up, it can go down, and it can also just go sideways. You know, so right now we're in balance, and until we break that balance, I'm just going to keep fading the edges until it stops working. Let's pop it on the weekly. Oops. Let's pop it on this weekly here, and you can see oh, it's not the weekly. Oh, it is. Okay. A little bit bigger. Okay, so we can see on the weekly, we had this 2-week balance up here at the top of this February's range. We kind of tested up into it. Happens to be the 50 moving average on the weekly, happened to be right there. You know, magic or not, right? Could be. I don't know. But wasn't able to hold it, came back down to the low of this range. One thing I am kind of looking at, right, is this. This was a look up into balance and fail. This was push down was more of just news driven, right? It held, popped back up, and then kind of just finished back up in this range. But like I said, we are getting pretty close to the low of this balance, and a break below that balance, if we take a peek back, there's a gap down here at 4,030. Let's see what's the low on here. 4037.5 all the way to the high 4014.5, right? You won't see it if you don't have your chart on not showing extended hours, right? It's not there because it traded through it on Globex. But if you, oops, I'll get rid of the volume too. You know, if you do it, you can see it pretty clearly here, right? And I think that would be a target on the downside to kind of clean up that structure. And if you look, we've got, you know, you've got some decent balance here. It moves straight through, back tested, never able to make it down to that gap, right? And that's because so many people were short. They were short again. They shorted again, right? People had been getting short, and then getting squeezed, and then finally the market's starting to draw down, and we've had some people trying to buy the dip, and you know, like I've always said with everybody, don't catch a falling knife. Let somebody else catch it, right? If you need a knife that bad, let somebody else catch it and then just take it out of them. You don't need to catch it yourself. Let's pop over to this daily so we can really see this balance zone here. And for those of you guys that are in the bootcamp, check out the trade view. I posted it in there, and I will keep posting it every single day. Just something that I like to do, and I think it really keeps me on task since I've started doing it. I've had some of my best trading days, percentage wise, not really cash wise, because we haven't really had very many, you know, big days besides these past two, but mostly just a couple of balanced days. This is kind of weak right here, right? This just tells you there's a lot of emotion in the market, right? And typically when we're in balance, you know, it just means that the market is just, you know, searching for value. If they find value here, they move it back up. We'll look to see them try to press the top of this range, right? We do have some poor highs, and you know, it's going to make it a weak high because 1, 2, 3 times we've been back up to that spot and haven't been able to break it, right? And like I said, you know, a lot of people say that's going to cause it to be stronger. Not for me, right? We do have a gap to the upside. I do kind of, I'll be honest, I do kind of expect it to get filled this week. If that gap is not able to get filled this week, it's probably gonna be a pretty ugly week, right? But I do kind of expect it to get filled tomorrow during the cash session. As far as breaking out of balance, you know, I'm just kind of waiting for that. If you followed the trade view last week, on Thursday, on Friday, you were definitely ready for the day because we had talked about how this was a look above and fail, and you know, it sure was, and then it ended up testing that. low end of balance. If we switch this to see the profiles a little bit more zoomed out, I just like how we're able to do this on here. You can see that this profile was more of a D profile, right? I want to show you guys this for those of you guys that aren't in the boot camp. We have a P profile here, right, which is indicative of short covering. And we had a B profile here, liquidation, another B profile, so more liquidation, right? We had all these people long. Remember, we talked about a huge move up, all the volume that came in, it popped up. So of course, we had some shorts getting out, and then we had some liquidation, another P profile. This profile was fairly balanced, maybe like an uppercase B, but it was a pretty balanced profile, but value definitely shifted lower. This day was a really interesting day because of how it acted. It took the high, had no tempo at all on the top, no push through, and then pushed back down. The next day ended up gapping down, and then we had just a D profile. The interesting thing about this profile is we had that poor low and we had good excess to the upside. So when price did come up, sellers came in and pushed the price back down and didn't let them fill that gap. But when it got to the low, selling shut off or buyers stepped in, one or the other, right? There's no way to know for sure, but left a poor low. So there might be a seller who's willing to sell from up here and not willing to sell the low. That just tells us that they're a bit more cautious, and there's a lot of caution going on in the market right now because of everything that's going on. Hey man, don't worry about it. Spam the chat. Yeah, the more the merrier. Any questions or any other like stocks that you guys want to look at? Options, futures, you know, more than willing. And thank you guys, you know, thank you guys for all the support over the time and over the break that we've had. One thing I do want to show you guys too is this is, and we'll just look at the past month for this. This is the top 10 cryptos based off market cap. For the past month, you can see who the huge winner is, right? 33% compared to all the other cryptos. So what we should be doing here, Ed, for what do you mean? I use 3 platforms mainly, or sometimes 4. This is TradingView. I use this one, right, because pretty much everyone has access to it. It's super easy. The other one that looks like this is called Thinkorswim. I really enjoy it. I wouldn't use TradingView if everybody in the world had access to this, but unfortunately our non-American friends cannot get Thinkorswim. At least my Canadian friends can't get it. So, you know, I imagine a lot of the people I know, I think Tommy can't get it either over in England. So I just kind of stick to this, help people out. And then I'm using Sierra Charts and NinjaTrader. So if you have any questions on either of those, I could definitely help. But yeah, so Luna is a big winner here, right, for this past month. And if we even go 3 months, right, because we've been steady mobbing down for a minute, right, in the cryptoverse. But Luna hasn't, right? Luna had a dip with everybody else, but you can see the recovery that Luna has. So certain things that you guys should be doing if you're trying to get ahead of the curve is look into the projects that Luna has going on, right? Because if there's strength in the Luna projects, then they're obviously doing something right. If every other crypto that's in the top 10 market cap is down except one, well, you know, go where the money's at, right? Follow the money, right? Take the red pill, jump down the rabbit hole, and, you know, see what the deal is. Yeah, just something that caught my eye as I was taking a peek, you know, my normal routine. I like to look at this chart. I update it, you know, like once a month. with the new top 10. Every once in a while, you'll see a couple things change. Sometimes I'll leave some other ones on. It just depends, kind of. And then I wanted to show you guys this too. You can see energy and utilities, the sectors in. Oh yeah, for sure, Ed. And Ed, if you're in the US, just message me on Discord, and I can send you the template. I can send you my template for Thinkorswim. That way, you, if you're not familiar with it, you can just load it in there, and you won't have to worry about it. But yeah, so we can see over the past month, you know, energy has been the big winner, utility has been a big winner, but pretty much everything else has been down, right? These are the lighter weighted sectors of the S&P 500, and so that's not really showing us very much strength. The IHL and ASX. Yeah. So, what oops. Are you trading it? What is ASX? What was a crypto? Is it a crypto? No. Oh, it's the Aussie one. Oh, it's capping up hard. Is this what you're talking about, Clipper? What's IHL? Isn't it? Yeah, are you talking? Is this what you're talking about? This, this is an Aussie thing, right? Yeah. ASX. Or are you talking about this? Oh, it's an Aussie stock. Okay, okay. Okay, there we go. Here we go. Find it. Here we are. Okay, that's what I wanted. So let's do a full rundown on this. And this is every day, guys. Like, so when I get ready to trade stuff, I always look at the monthly. Even if I looked at the monthly yesterday, right, and the monthly tells me the exact same thing it told me the day before, at least take a look at it, right? Because it's all about building that routine. And you know, the one day you don't look at the monthly, it might have been offering that information that you needed to make the right trade, and then boom, you know, because you didn't do it, the market did it. You know, it's kind of like how it works. It's, at least that's how it feels, right? So let's take a peek at the news that's going on with this. Patient dosing. Okay, so they're trying to get approved for like an anti-anxiety drug, but it looks to be more like CBD based. It's pretty cool. Pretty big advocate for things like that. I think there's a lot of benefits in the cannabis sphere that people really don't pay attention to. But let's take a peek. So we can see on the monthly, right? We got that look above the previous 2 months, and now we're back in range. So what we want to do, the first thing that we want to do is set our boundaries, right? And so we'll take the high here. I wish it would tell me what the high is. We're just gonna have to guess. And we'll take the low because we broke above this previous month, so we're gonna have to include it in our range. So there's gonna be our monthly range, right? What we can expect as the month continues on. Other than that, right, I'm not sure if it was just kind of, you know, the company probably did a reverse split, I imagine, to get the to get people more interested in the shares, right? A lot of times when shares are trading below 10 cents, below $1, a lot of people aren't really paying attention to them. A lot of big money isn't really paying attention to them. They're not really focused on getting in at the bottom or getting short at the top, right? They're just focused on getting in and catching a part of the move, which is what everyone should be focused on, right? You don't need to catch the whole move. It's just unnecessary and highly unlikely. On the weekly, zoom this bad boy in. So on the weekly, we can see that we had some buying in there. It got above, wasn't able to hold it, and then last week, or this is today. Oh yeah, it's just today, because your guys' market's open, right? Pretty sure. It's kind of trading back down into the low of last week's range, right? So that's going to be the first spot you're going to want to check for to see if it's going to hold. That's going to be around this 59 half level, right? That's going to be the first spot that we'll look for IHL to hold. It looks, I mean, I just don't know what happened here. I'd have to like dig through this a little bit. Let me see if they have it on and look at some of their internal. They might not have it on here though. That doesn't look like it. All right. But I mean, that would be the first level that you would look for it to hold. If it starts to extend lower, you know, it's probably going to come back down to the low, I imagine. I mean, that's what I would expect. You know, no way to know for sure, but that's what I would expect. Let's take a peek at the daily. You can see, so now we're one time framing lower. And this is when I like to bust out my handy dandy trend line drawer and draw that trend line, right? Remember to notice things like this. This is one time framing lower for sure. So you're gonna definitely have to pay attention to this, right? And what you want to see and what's going to show strength is going to be the cessation of one time framing, so a break of this level up here. On the daily is going to be strength, right? That's going to be up at that 72 level. So now we'll zoom in even a little bit further and say, if we were going to set up a trade on this, where would we set up our trade, right? So now we've drawn our range for the monthly, right? We've got our daily level where that's where we need to get above in order to show some actual strength in buying. And we have this low down here saying that this should act as support. And if it doesn't, where is the next level below it inside of this monthly range, right? So as we're looking at this, yeah, because your guys' market's open at 15. It looks like it's not able to get that low from Friday. And if it comes back up into this balance, unfortunately, there we go. The TPO doesn't work on, mostly just works on crypto. It's hard to get it on TradingView with the stocks. But if it trades back up into value and gets back up to this point of control, you might have a nice opportunity to catch a long back up to these the top of this range into this resistance, right? A safer play would be to wait till it gets above this 72 cents, holds and buy it then. Or if it gets back up to this 60 65-ish area, or is it 64 to 65-ish area, to buy that, and then, you know, pay attention to this trend line. If it doesn't pop over that trend line and head towards that 72, you know, that's going to tell you that these buyers are just not as strong. ERU and pin. What's up, Marcine? Thanks, Jamie. I appreciate it. Oh, EUR. Dyslexic. One is it? Is it this one? Or it's this one? Yeah, this is the one. Ooh, getting beat up pretty bad. Looks a lot like the market. Oh, PLN. What's going on with me? The futures? Caesar, what's up, man? Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure. No worries. I'm just trying to figure out which one it is on here.
Maybe you've been going through a breakup. For you, YouTube Music Premium has offline mode, so you can disconnect from social media but keep blasting your heartbreak playlist.
There it is.
Upgrade to YouTube Music Premium. Uninterrupted music dedicated to you. Try 1 month free.
So it's getting beat down pretty bad on the monthly. It's below range. Let's get the weekly. Yeah, this looks to be in a free fall kind of. What is all this? February was weird, Alex. Yeah, it was. So, I mean, this thing's just one time framing down. I wouldn't even touch this thing with a 10-foot pole until you see a cessation of one time framing. I wouldn't even zoom in any farther than this. You know, this thing's got to tell you that there's buyers in the market before, especially because if we go back to the monthly, you can see it's below this spike low monthly range. It didn't end, move, pretty much straight down since the open of the month. So if you see something like this, don't try to time it and be like, oh, this is the time to buy it so cheap. Just wait, right? Wait till it gets up here and shows some strength, and then catch a little bit of that upside. Because what happens is this. This is coming down, right? People buy this, and that's why it pops back up. It happened again, and then liquidation, right? Comes down, people buy it, and they get liquidated. Same thing here, right? And then this time it looks like everyone's just liquidating. So wait till they stop and jump up. Clipper, I'm actually leaning towards doing more just streams. I'm still gonna do the trade room, but I'm thinking about doing more streams because I'm gonna be in transition with moving across the country, and it's gonna be too. I just don't want to be charging somebody for something that I can't commit to. That's just unfair. You know what I mean? So, oh, it's definitely possible for it to get lower. Yeah, I mean, that's something I'd have to really let me see if we can find it on here so we can look at some financials. Might not have it. Idiot. Oh, here it is against the dollar. You can see it's doing really good against the dollar. Let's see if it's there. It's got to be up here. There it is. So we must be looking at it. I don't know if maybe TradingView is, if this is not the right one or what, but I trust this a lot, Thinkorswim a lot more than I trust TradingView. So it actually looks pretty good. Oh, that's why, because this is backwards. So this is the ERU versus, yeah, so never mind. It's right on TradingView. It's right. Yeah. It's the other way. But yeah, so it's definitely going down when you compare it to some of the other currencies. Let's compare it to the Aussie dollar. It's getting smacked. Compare it to the pound. It's getting smacked. New Zealand doesn't look like they run the comparison. Oops. And then against the American dollar, it's getting smacked too. So, yeah, not great. One thing, since you brought that up, I would like to show you guys. Appreciate it, Caesar. I'm glad to see you too, man. Thank you. Yeah, Clipper, and I do. I mean, once I get situated and on the East Coast, like my schedule will be a little bit easier. So I would love to run an afternoon session too. So yeah, same result. Yeah, same result exactly. But one thing I do want to talk about is the euro. Let's see. I don't want to compare it to anything. I just want to see it. Yeah. I just want to see the. Here we go. Yeah. So take a peek at this. Let me find it, guys. Yeah, it's so soon. Buzz, what's up, man? One thing I want to show you guys, look at the euro, right? Not great. If we compare it to the dollar, it's starting to catch a little bit of a rebound, but it's not good. We also want to look at oh, there it was. Look at the yen. This is yen futures, right? I mean, kind of a weird chart, but it's starting to pull down pretty hard. This is a daily chart. The GBP, you know, British pound futures, they're also getting smacked, right? We can take a peek at the dollar. The dollar's breaking up, right? So, you know, and you can kind of see we've talked about this before, and we were kind of ready for this, but the dollar is breaking up. If the dollar starts to turn down, we're already seeing two of kind of like the main three that I am watching turn down. If we start to see a reversal in the dollar, it can start to get ugly, right? You can see the dollar starting to recover on the dollar futures as well, but if this thing is unable to get accepted and hold its strength up here, and I mean, you could really argue that this is just a huge bull flag for my technical traders out there. But if we zoom out, you can see, I mean, the dollar is built a bunch of value down here. It's moved up, it's building value, and it's starting to get near the top of that, right? So a rejection of that and a push back down can actually cause the market to pull back a little bit even more, which wouldn't be amazing for the market either. But I think that is where we are going to call it. Let's see. We are we have 19 likes, no dislikes. I appreciate everyone stopping by. We're gonna try to start making this thing a little bit more regular. If you guys have friends or anyone that want to pop in, and can't believe this guy hasn't been wrecked yet and quit. What'd I get wrecked on? But yeah, so if you guys have friends that want to pop in and just learn a little bit about the market, like I said, this is not financial advice, but it is a way to look at the market a different way than most people are looking at the market. Message retracted. No, I'm open to criticism, always. I'm not not a perfect trader. Like I've always said, my average win rate is about 60 to 75% depending upon the month. I have no shame about that at all, right? But yeah, I'm excited to be back at it with you guys, getting on this every day, get back into crypto day trading, and yeah, be more active in the Discord and hopefully catch up with all of you guys, and we can keep killing it. But other than that, you guys have a wonderful rest of your day or night, or if it is early morning for you guys. For all of the people that are in Europe, and if you are close to the conflict that's going on, try to stay as safe as possible. It's scary times out there. So other than that, you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you guys in the morning for the trade room.